is one day in thy courts than 1,000 anywhere else. Better is one day in thy courts than 1,000 anywhere else.
This is Mark David for Messianic Lifestyles, and I have the distinct pleasure in meeting and greeting many who live in the Messianic faith. But I am particularly blessed to interview people who help create and maintain Messianic youth camps. The youth are our future, and in this day and age, we need to invest in the direction of that future through these camps. The amount of people committing to this lifestyle grows exponentially each day, and, well, of course, whole families are changing to an entirely new belief system. That, within itself, can take a toll on those that have spent their lives within one belief system, and now the understanding of that new belief system can be hard on the youth of those families. Of course, it is always good if these youth can have others who are going through or have gone through this paradigm change to help them to understand the differences and how they themselves can acclimate. Youth camps within that belief system can help. Messianic youth camps are popping up all over the world, and we want to hear about them. We want to talk to them. We want to hear what these youth are going through. Today, I have with me Ben Frostad of Camp Zimrat Yah in Canada. Ben, thank you for being with us, brother.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Well, good. And you're in Canada. Whereabouts in Canada are you?
We're located in Regina, Saskatchewan, which is right above North Dakota, Montana, that kind of area.
Oh, kind of in the center then. Kind of in the center to the west, I guess.
Yes, right in the middle of the wheat-growing part of the country.
Right.
So
Okay, good.
very flat prairies.
Good. Well, one of our producers is kind of over that way too, so I kind of stay in touch with the things going on up there. And
Okay.
so your camp. Tell us, is there a website that people can go to find out more about the camp?
We don't have one website specifically for the camp yet,
Okay.
but we do have a website where we have posted some of the teachings from previous years of camp.
Okay.
And so that's a great opportunity for people who might be interested in the camp but want to know a bit more about what it's been like in previous years. They could get kind of a taste of some of what's been going on.
Good. And where would that be? How could they get a hold of that website?
I'll maybe have to send you the website later
Okay.
because it's a long address.
Well, that's all right. Actually, we'll have it listed in the youth section. As soon as we're done with this, people can just go to the youth section, and it'll be under Camp Zimrat Yah. How about that?
That'd be great.
Good. And do you have like a PDF form or something like that people could look at to see the different things that are there?
Yes, we do have our camp brochure on PDF and
Okay.
registration form.
Right. That's what I
Be
saw
great
in
to
there.
check out.
Right. That's good. So, how long has the camp been going?
The camp has been running. This will be our third year now.
Good.
So we started in 2009 and have been going since.
Great. Well, let's get a little of your background. Now, you say that there aren't necessarily a specific leader, I think, but several different people that kind of put it together, and you're on the planning committee?
Yes, that's right. So we have a number of people on the planning committee from different Messianic communities in Saskatchewan, and a lot of them are young adults, young leaders that are coming into a leadership role for this camp. And so there isn't any single leader, and that's something that is maybe a bit unique about our camp, is that instead of having just one person in charge who makes all the decisions and everything, we've had a real working together of different people and different people coming together
Good.
with their giftings. And the Spirit seems to really bless that sort of setup.
Good, good. That sounds great. And it's always good if it can work that way. So, and about how many people do you have like on your leadership committee?
Well, we have a core group of, um, I guess, around 10 people. It kind of
Okay.
varies back and forth. Some people are more involved than others, and so we have one person, Chris Stevens, who will be the director at camp this year,
Okay.
the program director, and as well as we have Brent Avery from Oklahoma, who will be coming to do the speaking at camp this year.
Oh yeah, I know Brent personally. He's a great guy and has been around for quite some time. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, what
Hmm.
about your background? Give us a little bit about you, how you were raised, and how you became messianic, that type of thing.
Yeah. So I was raised in a Christian home. I have three siblings, and all of us were raised in a very a very rich Christian heritage, I guess. And so that's something that's always been a big part of our life, our faith. And it was around the year 2001 or 2002 that the Father began to really open His Word up to us and began to show us some amazing things. And we began to embrace the Messianic lifestyle and understand the validity of Torah for our lives. And it's been a real amazing journey ever since then, how, all the things that He's been opening up to us in His Word, um, and just the depth and the richness that is in there, how we can follow Yeshua as our rabbi, as our teacher, how we can follow His example, right? And so
Sure,
that's
sure,
been
yeah.
it's been a great journey. And it was around, I think it was 2003, we had heard about Camp Yeshua in Oklahoma, and a couple of us youth from this area decided to go down that year. And so that was our first exposure to the Camp Yeshua format, the Messianic Youth Camp type of idea. And that was a real amazing experience for us.
Well, that
So
was,
a number of
yeah, that was early on in their forming of the camp too.
Yes, that's right. And so actually a number of the people on the planning committee for Camp Zimrat Yah were youth that attended Camp Yeshua way back
Oh,
then.
I see. Okay.
Hmm.
Great, great. And Brent Avery was also the one that started Camp Yeshua in Oklahoma, so I can see how
That's right.
you tied to Brent there. That's very good.
Hmm.
Very
That's right.
good. Okay, so you've been 3 years now in the making. Give us a little history on what you had in the first year, about how many people you had, and some of the things that you did, that type of thing.
Definitely. Um, so I guess the vision for camp started with a lady named Deborah Stevens. She is one of the mothers in the community, and now she's a grandmother as well. Um, she had a vision to see a youth camp start here in Saskatchewan. She actually had the opportunity to go to Camp Yeshua as a helper one of the years, and since then, she had a vision to see a camp start, really for the purpose of seeing young people trained up and equipped to walk in the roles that the Father has for them. And so that's something that's been really on her heart. Um, and it's amazing how the Father took that vision that she had and actually used that to motivate other people, myself included, to see this camp become a reality. And so then our first year, like I said, was in 2009, and a good friend of mine, Colin Johnson, and myself were very involved in seeing it come about. And we knew about Brent from Camp Yeshua, and he had been up here to Saskatchewan once before, and we thought we should try contacting him and see if he would be willing to come and help us start out this youth camp here in Saskatchewan. And so we contacted him, and he was interested, and he decided to come, but he didn't want to be the main program director, so he just came to do the teachings in the evening sessions. And we were really wanting to focus on real discipleship to Yeshua, real walking in the giftings that God has given us, and as a result, there has been, I've heard people say, more of a focus at Camp Zimrat Yah on discipleship and teachings than necessarily just for fun, right? So,
right.
While there is a lot of fun that happens at Camp Zimrat Yah, that is not necessarily the main focus of camp.
I understand.
So that's been a really powerful thing. We have throughout the week of camp, we have every evening we have the worship sessions, and Brent gives a teaching, and we also have during the morning time we call them equipping sessions. So basically, different topics, and usually a panel of different speakers from our planning committee or from the young people who share on topics that they're really passionate about. And so that's something that has been really powerful, and we think has been a huge benefit to this camp.
I'm sure it is. Well, tell us about some of the activities and things that you have, and then we'll also talk about the teachings.
Sure. One thing maybe I should explain first is the name, Zimrat Yah.
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah.
It was an interesting story how we got that name. We were trying to decide on different names, and I guess this name really came to us, and it's actually a phrase taken from the Song of Moses in Exodus, where it says, "The Lord is my strength, and He is my song, and He has become my salvation."
Right.
And for some reason, this name really stood out to us. So the term Zimrat Yah by itself, it means song of God.
There you go.
And that really describes the real heart for worship that we have, and that we want to try and instill into the young people that come to camp. So worship has been a big part of camp each year, and something that the youth really enjoy and really connect with. So that's been an important part of camp.
Yes, good.
We also have definitely some time for games and things like that. Of course, we have to have Brent Ball every year, which is the game invented by Brent Avery, and was a real hit at Camp Yeshua and has carried on up into this camp here in Saskatchewan as well. And for other activities, we have usually at least once during the week, we have some sort of night game, similar to the tribulation game that Brent did at Camp Yeshua. So that's always an exciting part of the year too.
Yeah, the tribulation game is one of the biggest events at Camp Yeshua, from what I understand. My 19-year-old daughter, this is the 6th year that she's been to Camp Yeshua, and she loves to talk about all the different things that she does there, but it's always the tribulation game throughout the year. I hear several things about it. So it's and from several of the other kids, it's a real big event there. So.
That's great.
Yeah. So what about the teaching? Tell us about different kinds of teachings that you do. How long do you have the camp for?
It's been different every year. So this year it will run for 6 days.
Okay.
But usually it's been around 7 days. And so one of the things that does is it actually goes over a Shabbat. So, we have a Friday night and a Shabbat during camp. And that's been a really neat time for, especially for kids that come from families that aren't as Messianic or that are maybe a little new to the Messianic walk. Gives them the opportunity to see a Shabbat dinner Friday night where all the campers dress up in nicer clothes, and we have a more formal kind of occasion. And then usually one of the young couples in the committee will lead, lighting the candles and saying some blessings and things like that. And so that's been a really good time. And then on Shabbat, then we have the opportunity to read from the Torah and to do some midrash and things like that. So that's a good opportunity for kids to get to experience that in an atmosphere very different from their own home.
Right. Very good. And so your teachings, what are a few of the different types of teachings that you do there?
We have had a lot of different varieties of teachings. And so, like I said, Brent will do the evening sessions.
Okay.
We'll have some worship time in the evening, and then Brent will share. And then in the morning, we do some equipping sessions where we've talked about different topics like understanding why we keep Torah, so things like that. Radical devotion to Yeshua,
Okay.
talking about how the Holy Spirit is part of our lives, what that means, what it looks like to walk in the giftings that God has given us as a body, all working together. We have done sessions on talking about why the importance of walking in a biblical understanding as opposed to a worldly understanding. And one of the things we've also done every year is had at least one session where the guys and the girls are actually separated from each other, and so the girls have one session where they'll be taught a certain subject, and the guys will have a session where they'll be taught a certain subject. So some of the subjects in those cases have been things like, for the guys, nobility and chivalry, how to be a leader in your home eventually when God brings you to that point.
Good.
And so, and really, respecting the opposite gender. And for the girls, my wife actually has done a teaching on femininity versus feminism.
Oh, good. I like that.
Those there is a big difference between the two. And so just understanding, the biblical view of God's role for men and women, and really walking in your role as a man, the way God created you to be, and encouraging the young men into that, and the same for the women.
Oh, very good. Speaking of that kind of leads into another one of my questions is that, summer youth camps through history has had a bad history of the boys and the girls getting together. And so I'm sure all the parents are always, it's usually some of their first questions is that how do you deal with this? And of course your teachings you just explained are absolutely great. We understand most all youth camps these days do, where they pull the two genders apart and speak to them on separate subjects. But just in general, you're talking 6 days at camp here. What are some of the security issues that you deal with?
That is a very good question, and it's something that the first year when we were planning for camp, that was something really burdened on our heart, because we wanted this camp to be a chance for these young people to step away from the secular world that they're immersed in every day, to step away from really from the world, right?
Right.
And that's a big part of it. And we felt very burdened that we want this to be a place of purity, purity in relationships between genders, and just a place where there would be very, as much as possible, minimal drama, things like that.
Right.
And there's only so much you can do as a leader. But that was something that became a real prayer burden for us for this camp. And it has been, I can say, at each year of camp so far, it's been amazing how there has been just such a real sense of purity, a real sense of, the guys really respecting the girls and the girls respecting the guys, and really safe limits between the two. So, there are certain rules, like the girls have their own dorm and the guys aren't allowed anywhere near it. The guys have their dorms there and the girls aren't allowed anywhere near there. So things like that we enforce. Things like modesty, there are certain things that we encourage the young men and the young women not to wear. For example, the guys aren't allowed to wear tank tops or muscle shirts, or the girls, are supposed to dress modestly as well. And that's something that we have found there has been a real strong internal peer pressure, positive peer pressure, to be pure and to walk in that sort of way. So that's been something that's been a real blessing, and I feel like it's not something that we've had to enforce too much.
Good.
And God has really blessed us in that so far, but it's definitely something we watch out for.
How many people do you expect at your camp this year?
That's a hard question because we keep getting more registrations.
Oh, good. Okay.
So we have another month or so before camp starts, and
I see.
we may keep getting registrations, late ones,
Well,
for
I
a
hope.
little while.
I hope this interview there'll be people that'll hear it and be able to get a hold of you. As a matter of fact, we'll be sure and get your phone number here before we leave, or a number where they can get a hold of you if they still want to register for that. How many have you had in the past couple of years?
So the past 2 years, it's been around 60 people, and for the most part, that includes the staff members.
Right.
So it's been quite small. That's been something that some campers have really enjoyed about this camp, is that it is small. It's it's a little more intimate. It gives you more of a chance to get to know some of the other youth. And so this year we may get around the same number. We might get a little more. We're not exactly sure yet.
Sure. Well, sometimes that's a blessing to have a smaller amount. The larger the amount of people that you have, obviously, the more problems that can occur. You
Right.
get one thing, of course, I know is that a lot of the kids in summer camps will. They have boyfriends and girlfriends, and they both want to join the camp, so they have a little bit more time to themselves. And we always hope that they get to camp and find out that that's just not going to happen. And of course, with Camp Yeshua, they're huge on that. This is their 10th year, and they have dealt with quite a few issues. And this year, they have 242 campers, and so the large number it's a rough situation, for them to have to deal with. And so I'm sure you guys count it as a blessing. You'd like to see more youth that are involved in Messianic activities and able to meet with other youth. But then with the numbers, it comes the numbers of situations too, and I know you know that. So
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, one of the things, just to go back to the teachings that we've been doing,
sure.
During the equipping sessions, I guess we've been trying to make it not so much like a lecture as, something that's more interactive, so something that the kids are able to participate in more. Because, too much just head-on lecturing during the day can get to be a bit too much, especially at a summer camp.
Well, yeah, of course, you bet.
And we have been really blessed by how the Father has really met with us each year at camp, and that's something that we definitely cannot take credit for. All the glory goes to Him, but He has really connected each year in a powerful way. And each year has been different, the past 2 years, and we're sure that this next year will be different too. But it's still been very powerful. One of the things that happened the first year, during one of the sessions where we had the guys and the girls split apart, we had this guys session about purity and masculine holiness. And the session, it seemed like the Spirit kind of took it over, and the session ended up lasting, I believe it was 4 hours or 5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
That this session lasted, and it went way past the time that we had allotted for it. So if you can imagine 30-odd young men choosing to stay in this session when they should be over having lunch, you know that God is working and doing something.
Right. Well, I'm also sure that, you say there's several different congregations or different people throughout that area that come, but I'm sure always the biggest blessing of all comes afterwards in hearing the testimonies of some that have come and have never been a part of anything like that, and what they get out of it is absolutely life-changing and something that will last throughout their life. I'm sure that's a blessing to you and all that work there.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And another thing that has been an interesting part of the past 2 years, we have had what we've called ICTs, Inspiring Courtship Testimonials.
Oh, okay.
So some of the young couples in the communities have volunteered to share and sort of just give their testimony of how they came together. And basically our heart is to present to these young people that there is an alternative to dating, to just the secular kind of dating that we see in the world around us. There's an alternative to that, and that it's really beautiful and powerful to see people walking in purity before marriage. And so that has been something that we've heard a lot of good feedback from the campers about, to see these examples of other people that have walked in this before them.
Right. Yeah, that's always good in any situation, definitely. Well, so where is your camp this year? Is it like in a youth, like a Christian youth camp, or some other camp situation? Where do you have it at?
This year, our camp is being held at a Bible camp.
Okay.
It's called Echo Lake Bible Camp. And this is actually a new location for us. The past 2 years, we've been holding it at a camp called Katepwa Baptist Camp. But it seems that for whatever reason, the Father wanted us to move to a different location this year. And because things just didn't work out with the old location the way they had in previous years. And so it's in both of these camps actually are very close to each other. They're in an area nearby called the Capsule Valley, which is actually a bit of a change of scenery from what most of Saskatchewan looks like. The typical Saskatchewan landscape is flat, treeless prairie. And so a lot of people think, how could you have a summer camp in a place like that?
Sure.
But then when you get to the Capsule Valley, it's, nice, beautiful hills and trees, and there's a small lake there. And so it's a really beautiful area and a really great place to connect with nature, and to a good place to really connect with God.
Good. Well, that's great. It, kids these days, they get bored, and of course, summer camp is not specifically there to cure their boredom, but it is to draw them closer to God, and beautiful scenery helps, that's for sure. So, well, this is great. Anything else that you can think of about your camp? Let's get the contact number, and who it is that they can contact if someone is interested in doing this, and we'll go from there.
Yes, definitely. So the number for Camp Zimrat Yah, which is actually my number, is area code 306-527-0850. And so that's if people have any questions or are interested in camp, that's a good place to check it out. Or our email address is campzimratyah@gmail.com.
Okay, and I'll post that also, as I said before. As soon as we're done here, it'll be under the youth category on messianicdirectory.info, and you'll be able to just click right on that, and I'll make sure that that brochure in the PDF file is available for them to look at, and also with your phone number and email address there.
That's great.
Well,
Good.
Ben, I appreciate it. Is there anything else you can think of that we haven't covered?
The only thing that comes to my mind right now is if people are interested in this camp, we do still have openings for this year. Our official deadline is July 15th, but usually we'll still accept some registrations after that date as long as you're able to contact us ahead of time. So, we would definitely encourage people who are interested to check it out.
Okay. Well, today is Sunday the 10th, and I'm going to get it up here in the next few hours, so they'll have a little bit of time left to go. And when exactly is it again? The actual camp?
The dates for camp this year are the 15th of August to the 21st.
Okay, 15th
So
of August to the 21st, okay?
That's right.
All right, real good. Ben, it's been absolutely great talking to you and getting to know you, and it sounds to me like you guys got a great thing going there. And as a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I might just check back with you after camp and kind of see how things went, maybe get a couple of testimonies from you of what happened and how the kids were changed, and we can add it on to this as a little extra to the interview, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I've actually looked forward to doing this with several of them. So, Ben, we sure appreciate your time here and putting this together, and I hope everything goes well. We're praying for you as we pray for all the Messianic youth camps throughout the summer, throughout the year, and the Lord richly bless you, my friend. I thank you for all the work that you're doing with the youth and presenting the Messiah to them and drawing them closer to their Messiah. We always appreciate anyone that spends their time and their efforts and their commitment to this lifestyle and the lifestyle of the youth so that they live a godly lifestyle. We appreciate you, brother, and all the ones that work with you. I want to thank all of them for committing their lives to this, and it's a great work in the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, my friend, and the Lord richly bless you until we talk again.
Thank you, and the Lord bless you as well.
All right. Shalom, shalom, my friend.
Shalom.
we are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network. The teachings and music on Messianic Lamb Radio are made available by the generous donations of listeners like you. Thank you.
Let not your hearts be troubled. You believe in me. You believe in God, also believe in me. John 14:1.